Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just in time. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. I know everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again, and you know why? Because I have yet another extraordinary guest who helps people open their hearts and embody their soul essence through MetaTherapy, channeled readings, and energetic healings, and a whole lot more. This amazing individual woman has a lot of years of experience, and we'll talk about that and you'll hear about more. But without further ado, I introduce to you Evalena Rose. How are you doing today, Evalena?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yes, yes. And I'm a firm believer in that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to share some of your time here with me in the timeline of your life on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolve, I just want to extend again my sincerest gratitude to you. Thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome.
Let's just get right into it, Evalena. You have 45 years practice in awakening and healing and therapy, and just give us a little insight on what you do in its entirety, and we'll break it down from there.
Okay. I feel that at the heart of the work is I help people come home to themselves
Right,
and release the past, step out of the trauma
right.
into now, be able to reclaim the parts of their psyche that may have been lost to trauma, and to embody their soul, embody their real essence. And,
Wow.
and so I've been doing that through, I call it MetaTherapy, for
Okay.
45 years. And I use that because it's beyond therapy and it's very metaphysically based.
Metaphysically based. Wow.
Yeah, I want people to get their own answers and to develop their ability to promote their growth and keep growing.
Wow, that's an amazing perspective that you say. Basically, what I gather from that is you want to empower people to get to look within and get their own answers, and you inspire that through your work, and that's amazing.
Hmm.
Yes, that's absolutely amazing. So meta therapy, give us a little bit more insight on that. I mean, I know that's meta based, but can you break it down just a little bit more?
Yeah.
The meta therapy. I've never heard of that, but I have heard of metaphysics and you know,
Hmm.
and that,
Well,
yes.
I invented the word, so not
Oh,
too many
yes.
people have
So
heard
okay.
of it.
Yes, that's why I never heard of it
That's
until
right.
now.
And and I think of it as the next step. So I have a lot of people who come who've done years and years of therapy and they're still not happy. They
Right,
still don't have their life the way they want. So I get out of talk very quickly into figuring out what's going on inside. So they say, I've got fear. Where's the fear? Can we talk to the fear? I do a lot of work with different parts of a person because I think what we do as a child is we develop all these coping mechanisms that
I
really
agree.
work then, but they don't work now.
Right,
But we want to honor the part that created it. They're created by a child
right.
and really honor that part and help them find another way to be in the personality.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes if they're under 7, they get to be a child. And sometimes I'll say, do you know what children do? And they'll go, no. Well, they play and they rest and they snack and they play and they play and then they sleep and they eat. That's about it. To reassign these tasks inside so the adult is in command and the children are taken care of finally by a mature adult who knows what they're doing.
Wow. Wow. I can envision that. Yes, proceed. Sorry about that, Evelyn.
That's fine. And I think of it as reconstituting the core essence, or in some people who've had a rough childhood, it's creating for the first time a truly aware wisdom nature to run the show and work with spirit. And I do a lot to help people connect with spirit. I
Wow.
also have been doing channeled readings for 38 years. And I channel a group of beings called the Council of 12.
12. Yes, I read that here. Yes, give us a. I'm excited because I was going to ask you that next. You already see, but you already are on this frequency and you knew what I was going to say. So, yes, give us a little backstory or insight or front story on the Council of 12.
So they're a group of beings, ascended masters and goddesses that have worked with this planet since its inception.
Right.
They're very kind and compassionate and very practical in their advice.
Okay.
And my work in therapy and healing informs the channeling, and that informs my work. And so it's also very therapeutic. So, some people will do a past life reading, for instance,
Right.
but it just activates that life in the person's reality. And what we do if we touch into a past life is what do we need to do to create the completions and the closure that lets it stop bleeding through to this life?
That's amazing. And I just want to pause you just there because I want to just elaborate. A lot of that information has been coming across me to me recently. So this is not a coincidence that you're speaking on this because I was just listening. I can't remember who it was by, but I listened to uh, messages every day on YouTube from positive channels and things like that, and they were talking about how things that happen, experiences that happen in your past life bleed over and the karma from then and
Mhm.
interferes in your life now. So you help to to get that straight and clear that out.
That's right. So what
Yes,
I what I feel runs us is what's incomplete.
right.
So there's a past life and something's unresolved. Maybe the person got put in prison for their beliefs and they don't know they're not still there. And so we go find them and help move that part of the soul's consciousness up into the light.
Wow.
We may actually work with some closure between the different people in the life, but at least we free up the part of the soul that I'm working with. And then we have the angels clear all the cords between that life and whoever else is there, and between those and this life. Because
Yes,
usually it gets triggered because they meet so and so that they had that affair with in another life.
right.
And then it's suddenly alive and in their face. So we go complete that and get those principles moved into the light, and it doesn't bleed through anymore. So this current time is free of that influence.
Wow, that's amazing because it's not it's like we have enough obstacles of getting out of our own way in my perspective and connecting with our spirit. That's what I think that now know that that's the purpose of us all. Now,
Mhm.
does is that in connection also with ancestral um things that can come back into your life? Does that exist in your perspective?
We also work with ancestral lineages.
Right.
So it's possible that things get passed down through generations, especially if there's
That's
a
what I meant. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
if there's a curse back there or an ancestor promised I'll pursue this through eternity, it can
Right.
really affect every generation after.
Right.
And so we've learned to do something a little bit like family constellation, where we imagine all the ancestors behind the person and they give the whatever's unresolved back to the ancestors. They pass it back and back and back to the luminous ones, and it dissolves its effect through that lineage. So it also supports everyone else in the lineage by doing that work. And it seems to clear it backwards and forwards. So
Wow.
it's a gift you can give your children actually to clear
Yes.
your lineage for them so that they're not at effect of living out what's unresolved.
Wow. That. thank you for answering that and clarifying that. That is amazing because yes, as you can see, as you can tell that, yeah, this information has come across to me, but I haven't really quite made sense of it. I've heard the term of ancestral, you know, circumstances, karma being handed down and past life. So that's amazing that
Mhm.
you deep dive and help to eradicate and resolve both of those areas. That's amazing. And I just would like to ask you, how did this even come about that you start working, in these modalities, these realms, how did this even come about? I mean, have you always been into, spiritual healings and things of that nature?
Not really. And I wasn't really open to the other realms.
Right,
From the abusive childhood I had, I was pretty shut down.
right.
I was raised in the Methodist Church and taught something in relationship to spirit. And I thought I was going to work in the churches. And then I had a job in one and I went, there's no God here. There's no spirit here. This is a business, which isn't true of all of them, but it was true of enough that I wanted to find something different. And I actually one day said, okay, God, I don't know if you exist. I'm not going to go look for you, but if you want me to know you exist, you got to prove it to me and make
Mm,
sure I get it.
mm,
And that happened. So
wow.
the beginning of my working with guides was when I first started my private practice. I'd been fired twice.
Wow.
I'm not particularly employable because I've got a lot of my own ways.
Right.
And so I decided I wanted to do private practice, but I didn't feel like I knew enough to be
Mm,
alone in the room with people. So I took all kinds of workshops, and one of them was meeting your spirit guides. And I went,
mm,
I don't have to be alone in the room. I can have guidance when I'm working. So it's
wow.
always been that way. And so I'm learning as I'm offering the work with other people.
That is amazing. And I think that is a very powerful way to go about, especially spiritual. And I don't even want to attach the a work to it, but spiritual practices is learning as you go along. And that's one of the quotes that I created, and it probably was created before, but it came popped into my head a while back, and it said, "As I learn, I teach. As I teach, I learn." So I'm both a student and a teacher simultaneously. So
Yeah,
yes, so I
me
think that's
too.
that's amazing that that you are transparent about that because wow, that I feel that that's how life is. I know that's how life is. We learn things and things get clarified on deeper levels. There's certain things that come across our path, our consciousness that we may not understand at that time. And then later on, it serves a purpose and the light bulb goes off. Like an example is I first read a book by Eckhart Tolle entitled The Power of Now. Now, when I first read that years ago, I didn't understand it. I was like, even the simple concept as all we have is now, I just could not grasp it. But I told myself, read this information anyway. Just read it. And I read it. And then it clicked in some years later.
It works you over time. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I didn't understand it at first at all. I didn't get a lot of the concepts in it and a lot of ideas I did not understand. It just did not my brain just could not grasp it at that particular moment. I wasn't on the conscious level to grasp it. But I am thankful I was conscious enough to actually attract that into my experience to even read it in that I sat
Yeah.
down and actually read it. So I'm thankful that I did. But
I think
yes,
that I think that learning and that hunger to know
right,
the next thing, that's part of our divinity.
right.
I was channeling this yesterday to the satsang community that I channel for once a month, and it was like there's this movement in the divine that's in
Right.
all of us to learn more, this infinite curiosity. And so you master something, and instead of just floating on that, you go, and what's next? And what else
Yes.
can I learn? And the
Yes.
next class and the next podcast, because we want to satisfy that desire to keep advancing and knowing more.
Advancing, knowing more, creating,
Hmm.
elevating, learning from one another, and I think that's absolutely amazing. And this is just off the whole subject, but your voice is so soothing to listen to. It reminds me, I was thinking when you first started to speak, who you reminded me of, and now I know your voice is similar to me. Maybe someone else out there will agree or agree to disagree, but it sounds similar to Esther Hicks. Have you heard
Oh,
of her?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Esther Hicks. I love listening to Esther Hicks channel Abraham. And yes, you remind me, your voice just as I shut my eyes and listen to you. Yes, it's along those same tones and same, I don't know, it's just something familiar about it. So thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
I'm
Beautiful.
honored. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I love listening to Esther Hicks. Esther Hicks and the two of my favorite voices to listen to are, I can say three right now. Esther Hicks, Louise Hay,
Oh yeah.
um, and I can say I love Joseph Murphy and I love Neville Goddard. Listening to
Hmm.
Neville Goddard, I listen to a lot of his recordings on via
Hmm.
YouTube as well, and I love listening to those to those ladies and gentlemen. Very the
Beautiful.
way they articulate, the way they express, the way they accent. They just really get you into what they're saying, and it's amazing. And I can see you have that same effect as well.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, amazing. So yes. Now, when you work with your clients, or I don't know if you call them clients, how does that happen? Do they reach out to you? Do they hit your website? I mean, how does that work?
I call them people, people I
Okay.
work with.
Okay.
I don't claim people as my clients or my students
There you
anymore.
go.
Just people I
Thank you.
work with.
People.
And
Yes.
we're all peers. We're all just the divine walking each other home. So I like to see it that way.
Okay.
They find me in various ways. A lot of
Okay.
word of mouth. I've been in private practice 45 years, so people refer people.
Okay.
I have people who come back from 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And I do, ever since when the pandemic hit, what I heard was elders to the fore. And
Hmm.
I'd never thought of myself as an elder before, but I
Right.
realized, whoa, I got my marching papers. So I have just put my legacy on social media,
Right.
lots of videos, lots on YouTube, on Facebook.
Right.
So people have a lot of access to me, and it coincidentally brought me people. So I have two to three new inquiries a week just because I'm putting so much out there.
Right. That is
And
amazing. And
I
and
think
rightfully so. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's one of the secrets of a spiritual entrepreneur
Right.
is that generosity, that giving,
Right.
that creates a cycle of giving back.
And receiving. Yes, yes. And I think that's like I listened to Bob Proctor. He said that's just the way the universe works. You know,
Yeah.
the universe has a formula, and giving is part of that formula, giving and receiving in the circle and the flow. And
Hmm.
yeah, so that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And while we're here, I believe that you did share with me links, but do you have a specific website that you use more than others that you could actually audibly share with us for our listeners?
Sure. I have one website.
Okay.
It's evalenarose.com.
Okay.
It's spelled Evalena, evalenarose.com. And I have a lot of videos on there. I have free femifesting meditation
Right.
and some meditations about living as an empath, how to not
Right.
take on other people's energy, how to be in your own. There's a video on working with guides. So I love people just accessing all of that wisdom.
Right. And something just stood out just from you articulating that right there, taking on other people's energy. That has been a challenge for me for quite some time. And
Mhm.
I'm very, I don't want to, I'm careful of the words that I speak now because I believe words have power, and whatever
Mhm.
you speak, then that's what you're going to continue to attract. But that's why I say I've had um,
Good deal. Yeah.
sensitive issues with taking on others' energy. You
Mhm.
know, I can be in a very, great space, and then someone comes in a not so great space, and then I take that on. And yes, that'd be amazing to go through exercises or process to be able to not do that. So yeah, I might have to reach out to you myself in regard to that.
Okay.
I pride myself on, even, though I feel that, I'm a podcast host, uh, and I help other people as well, but I let people know I still go through things too. And,
Mhm.
to let people know that I'm constantly working on myself and trying to, and elevating myself. And if I see some areas where that I feel could be stronger, I don't
Mhm.
really like to use the word weak because I feel that I'm strong, but then I don't mind making it transparent that this particular, you know, issue I'm working on, you know?
That's beautiful.
Yes.
I have a friend who's a musician, and she was introducing a song, and she said, "This came out the other night when I was journaling, working on myself. My favorite avocation."
Right, right. Yes, I love that. I love saying that, working on myself.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like to say, and I didn't make this up, but that I'm a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time, simultaneously. So, yes. So that means
My
we're
friend calls it the living lab.
yes, yes, there you go. Yes, see, I love different perspectives of that very same thing, you know.
Mhm.
That's amazing, Evalena. So yes, I will be sure to incorporate all your links in the description of this segment, and it's going up not only on YouTube, but it'll be on all the Audible platforms as well. And when you go into this, I'm talking to everyone here as well, but when you
Mhm.
go into the description of this segment, you'll see all the Audible platforms that it's on as well, the Pandora, the Spotify,
Mhm.
the Apple, and all that. So that's why I always uh, am sure to make sure that my guests uh, say their website audibly, because some people just go on those Audible platforms and just listen to this as they're driving wherever, to work or
Right, right.
school or,
Mhm.
meditating, working out, running errands or whatever they're doing. So yes, that way they have it in their head or, but yes, I will for sure have all the links so that when everyone goes into the description on any of the platforms, they can just click those links and connect with you right away. And that's amazing.
Great.
I very much am thankful for the work that you're doing. And like I said work, but just for your intentions and the amazing, you in connecting with your spirit and help in assisting others in doing the same. That is absolutely amazing. And I wanted to say something else too. Another thing that stood out to me too is when you talked about when you said, did you say ascended masters? Did you say that or did I say that? Okay, yes, because I looked up, there was a couple of years ago that I kept seeing the numbers 333, and then I looked that up and it said that I was receiving some guidance and help, and or my ascended masters were waiting to assist me or something like
Right.
along those lines. But I was seeing it everywhere
Yeah.
I looked.
When they want your attention, they get your attention.
Yes, and that's why, as an honor to that I incorporated that into, my website. It's 333empower.com.
Oh,
And
nice.
and my YouTube channel is also 333 Empower at YouTube. So yes, and and my Instagram as well. So yes, I really took that nudge seriously. So yes, that's my number now.
Wonderful. There's one
Yes.
more piece I'd love to share.
Yes. Go ahead. Yes. Absolutely.
So, and I want to share it partly because this evolutionary growth is in all aspects of the cosmos. So I have someone I've worked with that says I can talk about her work, which I usually don't. And we've worked together 30 some years, and we've done a lot of incest work as well as business consulting. And She once said to one of my guides, "It's not fair. We spend our whole childhood doing incest and all this abuse, and then we have to spend our adulthood getting over it. There's got to be a better way." And the guide said, "We'll take it under advisement."
Wow.
And
Wow.
within 2 weeks, I found we were doing this form of soul retrieval that's very, very swift.
Mm,
So most people who, especially if they've worked on themselves, they've done a lot of work with their inner child, but
right.
they've got these scenes from the past that is it really a part of their child that's caught in time.
Mm,
When something's really shocking, for that little part of the essence, the clock stops ticking. And when we feel I'm triggered and I can't believe how I'm responding, it's because we're responding from a part that's not in current time.
right. From that child,
So,
that hurt
yeah,
child.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So we identify the scene, see the child, help the adult get really grounded and centered, and then to go with Divine Mother, step into the scene, go to the child, love them up, maybe some angels to take care of whoever else is in the scene,
Right.
love them up, invite them to come live with them, let them know I'm the adult you've grown up into and you can come live in my heart. And they almost always say yes, or with a little therapy, they do yes. And then Divine Mother brings them and the adult through space and time. And it's kind of a gathering up of your soul essence that's been scattered through space and time. Bring all that soul essence through space and time and into the heart chakra. The
Mm,
angels make the perfect child's room in the heart for them.
mm.
And sometimes an angel shower. And then a big rocking seat for Divine Mother to hold the child and the adults. And they breathe in Divine Mother's love and breathe all the pain and hurt, whatever is from that scene, into her heart.
Wow.
Now the soul essence is here and the clock starts ticking again. And the trauma's back there.
Wow. Wow. I could, as you were describing that, I could see it vividly. You know,
Mhm.
the different stages as you paint a very vivid picture. It's amazing.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes, yes. I can imagine you standing in front of an audience of people and being able to paint vivid pictures.
Yeah, I use my hands and my whole
Oh
body.
yeah, your hands, just your energy, your overall energy. I mean,
Um,
you know, you've been you for a while and you've been, you know, in your practice and you're aligned with your spirit for a long time. So you know how to get that message across quite well.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, yes. Yes, and I don't want to make a mistake and call you Esther.
I
Esther
don't
Hicks.
care.
And now I'm gonna have to listen to her after this show and then compare the two voices. I mean, I don't like comparing, but I mean, you know, it's just when something stands out to you and something reminds you of something else that you really adore, then, you know, then I think it's okay to compare.
Sure, why
Yes,
not?
yes, in a positive way. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, there's room for everyone's voice, but yes,
Mhm.
amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that with us and for
Mhm.
expressing just everything, you know, in regard to helping people, because I think that's very important. And I don't want to sound too um, not make sense, but I think it's very important to reach back and find where the initial um, trauma problems began. And yes, I know that you're right in line with that. I've worked, you know, with people, hypnotherapists in regard to the same thing. Yes. On a positive, just to share why I'm here with you, I was listening to a segment by a man from India by the name of Sadhguru, and he was talking about a positive aspect of the child of our our childhood is how when we were so carefree and as we evolved we started to get in our own way, but before when we were just kids we weren't really concerned about much other than just having a good time and creating and being curious, and somewhere along evolution, we lost that and
Hmm.
started attaching our identity to all these outside things, which just led to anxiety and we and all these labels. You have to have this or look like this or in order to be, to feel okay about yourself. And when you're a child, you feel good no matter what, playing in the mud. It doesn't matter. You haven't attached yourself to anything, you know. So it's
Well, that's true of children lucky enough to have a safe home.
yes, yes, there you go. Yeah,
Because when you've got that safe home, then you can be more naive and just be a child.
right,
I think that people need safety, they need love, and they need guidance.
right,
And some children get guidance, so they grow up with good discernment, and some don't.
right,
And so they're kind of lost in the world. And that's when they start attaching their identity to something outside. If they're
right.
well guided, they're more connected to inside.
Inside. Right, right,
And then there's a whole lot of people who have a childhood, too many, unfortunately, where there was no safety. And so that basic groundwork of safety didn't get laid. And that was true of my childhood. I didn't have that from the beginning.
very
And so
good point.
I've had to build it. I've had to keep nurturing younger and younger parts of me to get me into a place of safety. And thank
Right, right.
goodness I'm there now. It's so good.
Yes, I believe that well, I know I had a little bit of both. It was safety at times and then some things that contradicted that safety often,
Mhm.
so it left me confused. And just like you mentioned earlier, then I'm spending my life, or I don't want to put it in a bad way, but now to undo all that and to connect back where I belong,
Yeah.
to my
Well,
spirit. And yes,
I think Earth is a schoolroom. And
right,
what we had as a child, that's the curriculum.
right.
And we're meant to work it while we're here in the schoolroom because on the other side of the veil, we're in love. We have what we want over there, but we come here to become limited to learn how to become our whole self again.
Yes, I totally resonate and agree with that. Yes. And I've
Mhm.
read, I can feel it in here. And I've also read a lot of literature that backs that too, that I resonate with as well, because yeah,
Mhm.
that's the most important thing. I feel that in my soul, that's what it is. Not just
Mhm.
because someone said it. I know that's the truth. That's the truth in here,
Yeah.
all in around here. Yes. So I just want to thank you very much, Evalena, for coming on again. I can't express enough gratitude. I believe gratitude is it just makes me feel good to express gratitude. And I also know that gratitude just attracts more to be thankful for. And I just, yes, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for watching and or listening. And be sure to look in the description of this segment and connect with Evalena if anything that you've heard uh, resonates with you, and are you just curious and want to ask her some questions in regard to the discussion that we had today. Thank you, everyone. Be sure to also hit up the Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved website. That's 333empower.com. And if you think that you would be an amazing guest for this show, you can email me at enlightenempoweredevolve.com. I mean, enlightenempoweredevolve at gmail.com or 333empower at gmail.com as well. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, share this content, help the platform grow, help get these amazing messages out there, and help other people, to be aware of this amazing information, empowering information. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody. Love and appreciation. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. See you soon.
Mhm.